We back yet again.
Yes, yes.
I'm your host, Jason Flake. My co-host, Lance Reynolds, aka the People's Champ.
What up, though?
Another week full of interesting sports topics,
Oh yeah.
surprises, new and exciting conversation. Let's get right into it, man. I want to
Okay.
talk first about this Mike Malone situation in Denver. He was fired this week. Him and was it Calvin Booth,
Yeah. The
the
GM.
general manager. They were terminated this week. I have many thoughts about that, but as usual, I'll defer to you. I'll take your thoughts first, and then I'll give you mine.
Uh Man. Well, I think like everybody it was a shocker out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
I guess apparently Malone and ownership, had a lot of friction going back a couple years, I guess.
Yeah.
They're saying the championship in 2023 actually bought them some time. Again, that was news to me.
Oh wow.
I thought it was just like the progression that their team was going, going back to the bubble. They
Yeah.
were kind of showing signs that they were, turning into legit contenders. And then,
Absolutely.
they finished it off, 2 years ago. So, yeah, man. But I thought about that and even going so far as back to Vogel. Like, what's up with these coaches like getting fired after winning? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You got
Yeah.
Vogel in L.A.,
Hmm.
um, Budenholzer in Milwaukee.
Yep.
Uh, after his brother died,
Yeah.
and you know what I'm saying. And now Mike Malone being the latest casualty, and then in between that, um, Mike Brown
Yeah.
on a championship coaching staff and has had some significant,
Yeah.
individual
Successes.
success as
Absolutely.
a head coach. You know, it I'm
The
I
Pistons' current head coach, JB Bickerstaff,
yeah,
fired
JB Bickerstaff
unceremoniously
in
last
Cleveland.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, Taylor Jenkins this year.
Taylor Jenkins this year. Yeah, I was going
Hmm.
to get to that, but see how quick it turned into what's that like 8 coaches?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
So, um, as we were getting ready, prepping for the show, I was thinking about this particular subject, and I'm like, is this kind of turning into like a full blown like player versus management ownership,
Yeah.
like tug of war
Right.
type of deal? I know it's collective bargaining agreement negotiations are coming up soon, and
I had a similar thought.
it's a lot of flexing.
Yeah.
We can probably talk later about the whole Luca situation,
Correct.
but it's been a lot of seismic, um, front office activity going on, and late in the season.
Right.
Late in the season too, when you talk Taylor Jenkins and then of course Mike Malone.
Right.
So I think it's a sign of something bigger. Um, if we're going macro,
Right.
micro in terms of the Denver Nuggets. Again, I heard that it was some friction up top, but also now they were saying that it was some players having a problem with Malone giving preferential treatment to Joker and Murray, and then this year, I guess the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of the locker room
Yeah.
was he was showing that treatment to Russell Westbrook.
Ah.
So
Okay.
like the temperament was kind of like on some, okay, we get it. You kind of not riding Joker and Murray. These are your horses. This who you
Correct.
won with.
Correct.
But Westbrook, no, he's new here, and so it's a lot of things. Of course, after someone gets fired, all the dirty laundry and all it comes out. So,
Right.
but yeah, I think like I said, macro, I think it's it may be leaning towards that power struggle between player, what they call it, player empowerment.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the new well, not the new term, but let's just say the last 10, 15 years,
Right.
player empowerment versus ownership and what they can control. And
Right.
then in terms of the micro with the Denver Nugget roster, I guess it was how his coaching style, because he's old school.
Yeah. Very much so.
Mike Malone's kid.
Right.
His pops was one of Chuck Daly's assistants,
Yeah.
so that's about it.
Brendan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brendan. Yeah,
Brendan Malone.
Brendan. Yeah, Brendan's son. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Yeah, that's about as old school as it gets. So,
Absolutely.
that type of coaching style can wear thin, I think, with today's type of player.
Sure.
So, I think it was a combination of those things on the in terms of the squad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree a lot of with what you said. And just from a philosophical standpoint,
Hmm.
like I like to journal a couple of times a week. I would like to do it every day, but time does not permit. But always write this phrase. It's called the myth of everything.
Okay.
And what that means is that I think that one of the things that's perpetuated in today's society across a lot of different a lot of different aspects of life, right?
Hmm.
Is the myth that you can get everything that you want out of anything.
Mm.
When in reality we know that life is a series of trade-offs, right?
Mm.
In reality you can make a lot of money, but you probably not going to have a lot of time.
Right.
Or you can have a lot of time,
And not a
but
lot of money.
you're probably not going to have a lot of money, right? So life is a series of trade-offs,
Right.
right? And I think that ownership probably is looking at Mike Malone like, well, he's not everything we want. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm.
players don't love him. He's a little too hard nosed. He probably doesn't embody every single philosophy that we want, but the likelihood that the next coach is going to be as good as Mike Malone is probably not very good. It's probably not so.
Yeah.
But you getting caught up in the myth of everything. We can get everything we want out of a coach, as opposed to saying, this guy's really good. He won the championship year before last. The guys are always competing, and we're always really good. We're always going to compete with him. We have the best player in the world,
Right.
and the best player in the world. He's gotten the most out of him. He's won 3 out of the last 4 MVPs. So he has gotten the most out of the best player in the world. Now, I will juxtapose that with something that I do see from Mike Malone, and I did also see from Taylor Jenkins.
Okay.
And then I do have an overarching feeling. I don't know if it's tinfoil Kufi conspiracy working.
Uh-oh.
So the tinfoil Kufi might have to
I'm about to
stay
say you
under the
go. I'm about
table.
you going for that mug early.
No, it might have to stay under the table. But I
Okay.
do have a theory. I don't know if it's conspiracy theory. Um, I did see Taylor Jenkins do this as well as Mike Malone in a very, very tight Western Conference race. As of yesterday, every team from the third to the eighth seed was within one game
Yeah.
of each other.
Hmm.
And I saw Mike Malone as well as Taylor Jenkins resting their best players on back to backs,
That's crazy.
resting Jokic and John Morant on back to backs when 40-year-old LeBron is playing back to backs because they want to get as high a seed as
Yeah, because
humanly
they can get to
possible.
2 spot. Mhm.
And I'm looking at that. And if I'm ownership of either the Memphis Grizzlies or the Denver Nuggets, and Denver was in the 3 spot, LeBron is playing back to backs. You're resting Jokic on back to backs, as you kind of touched on that preferential treatment.
Mhm.
Guys are kind of getting that special treatment. You're resting these guys. LeBron's playing. We fall out of that 3 seed.
Yeah.
They get into it because you want to rest guys in a very tight race. Ownership is looking at that like, hey, what's happening? And I think that may have happened in each of those cases with both
Okay.
Taylor Jenkins and Mike Malone. Hey, we want the highest possible seed. We want as many home gates as possible, number one. Ownership wants that. Even though I understand the NBA is a revenue sharing type situation, right, from
Mhm.
a financial standpoint, but still, we want as many home gates as possible. We want the best possible opportunity to win a championship, which, obviously, the higher the seed, the better the
Right. Of
opportunity
course.
to do that. And we don't understand why 40-year-old LeBron is playing all these games. He's playing all the games down the stretch, and you're resting Jokic, who's not 40.
No,
And
he's not even 30.
correct. And John Morant, who you
He's
know,
what is he 25? Yeah.
that's one. Yeah, I
Okay.
think he might be 26, but I'm saying, and then he missed a big chunk of the season
Yeah. The
last year.
last two. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he should be fine.
Man, I don't.
Why are we low managing him? And so this is my overarching theory, because I think you brought up the CBA coming up, and this is my overall theory. I think that there is a war that is brewing
Okay.
between players, coaches, GMs. I think they're on one side, ownership and fans is on the other side of the
Right.
load management question.
Right. I don't believe a coach worth their salt is with low managing.
Well, I mean,
Like
Greg Popovich
but see,
started it. You know what
right.
I'm saying?
But I mean, the thing about it is, Pop is like Pop.
Yeah,
Everybody can't. You
right,
can't duplicate what Pop is duplicated. There's a certain equity that he's garnered, and their system,
right.
has garnered. You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying? And let's be real, like your home team ain't selling out back then if the Spurs were coming to town.
right,
Like, hey man, the Spurs is coming too.
right, right. Yeah,
You
they
should
not
they go
necessarily exciting basketball.
right.
Right,
They no disrespect. They were
right.
winners.
They were
You
winners.
get
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But
they wasn't the Showtime Lakers.
yeah.
Yes, yeah,
So I
correct.
mean, Greg Popovich doing that and the Philadelphia 76ers announcing they're going to do that before training camp starts.
Right.
You get what
Yeah, no,
is
I'm with you.
crazy. So my thing is you got players announcing this type of stuff on their own throughout the season.
Right.
And then, at the end of the season, like you said, you got coaches DNP and players mysteriously
Yeah.
because we done it too. The Pistons did it too
Right.
last weekend for no reason, and it cost them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, where is like the final, confirmation on this coming from? Like,
Yeah.
is it from all the way up top,
Right.
or because like I said, I can't believe a coach is like because they're coaching and with the need of their best tools available to win, and I don't believe they're going to voluntarily be cool with sitting down if he can play.
Yeah, I think. See, I'm kind of the opinion that coaches and to a lesser extent GMs have come to the side of the players
Okay.
with load management,
Okay.
and
Well,
I think because you keep hearing ratings are down,
right.
less people are watching, ratings are down, less people. Now I do understand that that is a tactic of networks
Mm-hmm.
when television contracts are coming up.
And the player,
Yeah,
because the player, they know the game. They'll be like, I'll leave.
yeah, right. And this is what I'm saying, right? Like you said, the players are empowered. So I think that there is a war that is brewing for the next collective bargaining agreement about load management itself.
I hope so. I'm
Yeah,
sick of it.
I am too.
I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it.
And to a lesser extent, player minutes in general. I mean, nobody plays 40 minutes anymore.
No.
You notice that? Like nobody plays 10 minutes a quarter.
No. Mm-mm.
And they sub them out. Like I was watching a game with it was like the New Orleans Pelicans, and I don't know, I think they were playing the Lakers.
Okay.
And our hometown guy, Willie Green.
Shout out Willie UD.
And if I ever run into Willie, I will ask him this question. Jose Alvarado had 18 points in the first quarter. I mean, like, now when is that ever going to happen again? You know what I'm saying? Like Jose
Yeah, in the quarter.
Alvarado,
I'm about to say Jose solid, but yeah, 18 and a quarter.
he was
yeah,
cooking.
yeah, he was on fire.
Right at the 9-minute mark, he kept his normal rotation, took Jose Alvarado out the game. I remember when a guy was hot, they used to leave him in the game. Yeah, like let's milk him.
Yeah.
Yeah, milk him. That doesn't happen anymore. Like they stick to these strict rotation schedules. Nobody plays 40 minutes. Like if you have a great player, play the great player.
Little ass Allen Iverson played 41, 42 minutes a game a season for a few
Yeah.
years in a row.
And it was okay.
The standard.
Yeah, and it was okay. Like nobody's playing heavy minutes anymore. Nobody is playing back to back. I mean,
Yeah.
and the NBA schedule makers have gone out of their way to eliminate back-to-backs, eliminate 3 games in 5 nights. They've done all of this schedule manipulation, and you're still load managing. And by the way, nobody's getting injured any less.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any less
Well,
injuries.
the
It's not like-
injuries to the stars
are
are,
more.
yeah, I'm about to say, are more
I'm
prevalent.
like, yeah, and if they weren't, and the way that we know that they're more is that if they weren't, they'd be running out here showing you the data every 5 seconds. The fact that there is no data lets me know that the data is no good.
Yeah. So it kind of leads to the question that no one really wants to ask, but it knows, it's out there. The players,
hmm
do they love playing it more than they love the money?
Oh, they love playing for a long time. That's why,
For the money, though.
correct.
You get what I'm saying?
And I
Like,
mean,
like
listen,
there's a difference between there's a difference between playing and competing.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's the right question. That's the question to ask.
I think, yeah. As we build it while we're flying, right?
Yeah, right.
Like I think it kind of turns into, and what we're seeing as a consumer of the product,
hmm
it's guys playing through the season
Right.
and then competing in the playoffs,
Yeah,
or when they feel like it,
right. I mean,
because they're not competing for 82 games.
something struck me the other night. I think it was when LeBron played. I think it was when LeBron and the Lakers played OKC,
Mhm.
or maybe it was the Dallas game last night, and we'll transition into that.
Oh man,
But this is LeBron's 22nd season,
right.
and he just passed Kareem for regular season games played. Kareem played 20 seasons.
I thought he passed Robert Parrish,
Oh, I don't know.
or is Robert Parrish next? Because
Right. It might be
I
Robert
think Robert
Parrish.
Parrish may be
Yeah,
next.
I think Robert Parrish is
Okay.
next. I think he just passed Kareem.
Kareem and Robert Parrish is
Yeah,
next. Okay. We'll have to
Kareem
double check on that,
played
yeah.
20 seasons. This is year 22 for LeBron.
Right.
So that lets you know that Kareem, because Kareem played, he played
Yeah.
79, 78, 82 games. He always played
Right.
mostly the entire season.
Yeah, they needed that money.
Yeah. And LeBron is playing, for the past 5 to 7 years, 55, 60
Right.
games a year, you know what I'm saying? And then,
But it's not just him.
no. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ragging on LeBron.
Yeah.
This is the culture. This is the
Right.
culture of the
But
league.
he's the
now.
leader.
Yes, correct. He's the
Right.
face
He's
of
the
league.
leader.
Yeah.
And a lot of this
As he
stuff
laments
that's
it.
happening. I mean, we can go back to give us extra time for All-Star weekend.
Yeah.
That was him.
Right.
The whole let's have a summit for free agency and
Mhm.
and turn this into AAU pro.
Right. I mean, and listen, who wouldn't want to stick around and make 50, 60 million dollars a year for as long as possible?
Right. But again, they have to do something with the collective bargaining agreement
do.
to cultivate competition.
They do. They do.
Because to your point, and I hate these, back in the day
Right.
type of scenarios.
I do. Yeah.
right?
I'm like, yeah, you hate to sound like the old head.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
But I'm
yeah.
old. So-
Right.
But the thing is, like, the stars wanted to play.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they weren't objecting to 40 minutes.
Right.
They get pissed off when you take them out of the game.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Or go sub themselves back in. Like, we'll argue about it in the locker room after.
hmm
Whereas now, like, guys are campaigning to sit down.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I mean, listen, I could not agree more. Let's transition into let's touch on real briefly. Luca's return to Los Angeles. Excuse me, Luca's return to Dallas as a Los Angeles Laker. And he cried during the introduction. And then also, that was Anthony Davis playing against the Lakers for the first time. I thought, as well as Luca played and as great as he played, I think me and you both were struck by how pedestrian Anthony Davis was, to say it politely.
Man, struck.
Right. I'm like, what?
Try offended.
Yeah, I'm like, what is wrong with you, Anthony Davis?
Like, imagine, like, circling your evening around an event, right?
yeah,
And, for the most part, everybody involved with the event got the memo,
yeah,
effort-wise.
Yeah, man.
You get what I'm saying? Like Anthony Davis last night
Yeah.
should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what
Anthony
that was.
Davis friends should be embarrassed for him.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what that was. I was
Anthony
weirded out.
Davis's family should not answer phone calls for the next 3 days.
Yeah, I don't know what that
That
was, AD.
was embarrassing,
Yeah.
dude.
Come on, AD, man.
Dude, come on, man. Now,
Yeah. I don't
we
know,
just
man.
had a conversation where we were talking about competition
Yeah. Yeah.
and stars wanting to compete.
Hmm.
And we have a scenario where Luca coming back to Dallas, they showed a whole video montage, the dudes crying. And I'm watching this and I'm like, damn, dog, this is messed up.
Yeah.
Like I rarely like feel bad for like these ridiculously rich athletes who
Yeah.
like play a game for a living. God bless them, they worked hard and
Yeah.
blah,
I
blah,
mean, right.
blah.
They earning their
But
money.
outside of that, most things happen. They can find somebody.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
dig? But like I was watching it and I said, man, this kid's really hurt. Like he did not want to leave Dallas.
You're right. Yeah.
And it was like resonating to me that if he had his say right now, he would go back. Like if he could like reverse this back,
Yeah.
he would go back even now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Even though I'm sure he probably knows that he probably has a better chance to win now with
Yeah.
the Lakers. Just for the simple fact, dude, say what you want about him. If you got LeBron James in a position where he can front run,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like playing with house money for
Hey, man,
real.
listen. LeBron is smart.
Right. So you take that, right?
Yeah.
All those emotions, he's able to compartmentalize that Luca that is,
Yeah.
and go out and he dropped 31 points in the first half.
Yeah. No, yeah. Luca wasn't playing.
Sniffling snot.
Yeah. Luca
and
Luca
busting
wiped it.
ass,
Luca wiped them eyes and said, okay.
and then proceeded to wipe his ass
Yeah, right.
with the Dallas Mavericks.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then meanwhile, you have Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Also unceremoniously traded.
So a champion
Yeah.
collegiately and in the NBA and in the Olympics.
A top 75 player.
Like he's on a rare list,
Yeah.
right?
No, a monster. Yeah.
So you're coming into a scenario where not only you, like you said, you get traded unceremoniously, you're coming into a city where basically, dog, they don't want you.
Yeah. Not at all.
Like they want that old thing back. Like
Mhm.
they like we straight on you, dog.
Yeah.
And you've got to know this. Like
Yeah.
you get
They
what I'm saying?
chanting fire Nico all night long.
So at least to make it better for you, Anthony Davis,
Right.
you would be inclined to think that of all nights, last night,
Yeah.
he would show up
I got to show out.
and just like ball out. Remember the first game when he was in Dallas and he gets a little and one and he yelling, "Oh, I'm here."
Yeah.
I'm expecting that like every other play.
Yeah. Me too.
Like Anthony Davis at halftime had 4 points, 4 rebounds, a block, and like some other like meaningless stats. He didn't
Yeah.
have like no technicals.
No.
He didn't have 3 personal fouls.
Right.
Like none of that. It was
Yeah.
no aggression, no competitive fervor
Yeah,
at all.
It was Freaky Friday between him and PJ Washington. I'm like,
and
that got to be PJ Washington's
dude.
stat line.
and,
I'm like, this is Freaky Friday with him and PJ Washington. Dog.
and like as as put back, as I was by the emotion of the Luka situation.
Yeah.
I was equally
Yeah.
as disappointed in the effort by Anthony Davis. Come on, bro. 13 points in 33 minutes in that game.
Yeah. Nah,
Like
that
at
was-
least, like I said, they're not going to stop chanting "Fire Nico."
Yeah.
Like
nah.
Nico,
Yeah. I mean, no, listen, man. His
But-
name is Mud in Dallas. I would
but
resign.
a game like last night, if Anthony Davis say if he has like 34, 15, 3 blocks, 2 steals, and they lose, who gonna argue with that?
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, Kyrie, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Clay the tomato can.
Yeah.
PJ shows up every other game. If he'd have showed up with Daniel Gafford's effort at the beginning of the
Yeah,
game,
right.
Daniel Gafford came out playing with his hair on fire.
Yeah. Right.
If he'd have came out with that effort, I'd have been like, okay, well, at least he's trying. He's sitting up here acting like the first time he ever been fronted was when Austin Reeves tried.
Yeah.
What the hell is that, man? But I'm sorry.
No.
I
I'm with
mean, I was dude, I was fuming watching that, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
and it
ridiculous.
had nothing to do with my parlay, I swear. But seriously,
Yeah.
that was embarrassing,
No,
man.
Anthony Davis messed
For a
up a lot
player,
of parlays last night.
but
I'm
for
sure
but
that
for a player of his caliber, dude.
not to talk gambling too much, but yeah.
but the player of his caliber, of his accomplishments, of his ability,
Yeah, no, Anthony
like
Davis is a monster.
ability,
Yeah,
like to do that. You
mhm.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what happens is guys that do this of a higher ilk, when they say stuff like this, then they get dragged through the coals because now you have players that do this too that say, hey man, stop talking about us.
Mm.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Like stop pissing on our Wednesday night
Right.
doing that.
Right. You the national TV game. You the first national TV game. And yes, I mean people are going to talk and see this is the thing. This is the thing about players. And see, they get upset and they like, man, y'all crap all over the players. That's not what we intended to do, but we're going to comment on the game. That's why you make a lot of money.
Comes with it, bro.
This is why you make a lot of money because they put your work on television. Your work is on TV. So when you don't do well, you don't get to do well behind the walls of a cubicle.
Yeah.
You don't do well in front of the rest of the world. And so the rest of the world is going to comment. And yes, we expected you to come out with some fire because they traded you unceremoniously. They upgraded.
4 points at halftime.
Yeah.
What a pathetic joke.
Yes, I mean that was sad. I'm like, man, what's up with AD? Yeah, I'm like you. I expected him to come out like they traded me.
Like, is he hurt? Did he have diarrhea? Like, did he
Nah,
like like what was going on?
yeah, like maybe I listen. He always hurt, man.
Gee,
But let's transition into the NCAA tournament.
oh man, yeah.
Congratulations to the Florida Gators. They are our 2025 NCAA national champions. They defeated the Houston Cougars by 2 points. Very, very odd ending.
Oh, my
Houston not
Lord.
getting the shot up, but Kelvin Sampson
Man.
seems to be snake bit in these big games. He cannot get a national title. I was rooting for Kelvin. Um, man, give me your impressions of that game, man. What did you think?
Well, the usual suspects did it again. Old Pearly and Calvin. I mean, these two guys, it just seems to just be no matter what the stakes or the scenario that it can line up for them, and they will find a way somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, two turnovers in a no, it was two turnovers basically in a row
Yeah.
by the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. But it was a lot of that. Even like going back to the Duke game.
Yeah, to the Duke,
I
Houston
mean,
game.
it
That was
was
inexplicable.
I mean, it was a lot of brain farts going on there
Yeah.
in the Final Four. But I mean, Florida, I mean, they just kind of stuck with it. They had what three comebacks
Yeah.
of 9 points or more
Yeah.
consecutively.
They were tough.
So I mean, they were obviously the more mentally tougher squad without question.
Yep.
Because even you look at Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the championship, he struggled.
Yeah, Walter Clayton. Yep.
Clayton, Walter
Yeah,
Clayton, Walter Clayton Jr. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
monster. That dude is a monster.
Yeah,
but
Walter
he did
Clayton
struggle.
Jr. He
Yep.
struggled there in the first half, pretty mightily there in the championship.
Mhm.
But again, like what we were talking about earlier, he still had a presence on the floor.
He did. Yeah.
He's a very cerebral defender.
He is. Yeah, I like him.
He plays defense away from the ball really well.
Yep.
I noticed that about him. So I'm like, okay, see, here's a guy that's still going to compete.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's other parts of the game that you can affect when you're not doing the sexy stuff.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Because
Yep.
we know he can do that. The dude can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it was some good, good games. Definitely competitive,
Yep.
down to the wire. Like I said, just pretty much some shocking turn of event type stuff.
Yeah. Indeed.
Happening at the end of those games. But I was wondering, how do you feel about only 11 upsets?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was interesting. I mean, like That's the tournament. You know, the tournament is unpredictable.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think that that kind of speaks just to the unpredictability of the tournament.
Mm.
I don't really read much into it unless it becomes a pattern.
Right, right.
Um, you know, just like with the Duke situation, I thought Duke was the better team.
Hmm.
However, when you have a team that is heavily dependent on freshmen, the mistakes didn't surprise me. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
well, to your point, Duke thought they were the better team. They
yeah,
just stopped playing like the better
correct.
team
Yeah.
the last 45 seconds of the game.
But that's what happens when these are very young guys.
Yeah,
You know,
true. Yeah, I mean, Cooper Flag should still be in
he
high
should still
school.
be in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
think doesn't he
sure.
have like a twin brother that's still in high school?
Yeah, because he reclassified.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm like, so these are very young guys. These are kids. You
Yeah.
know, you forget that because you're seeing them on TV. But these,
Nipple, the freshman as
yeah,
well.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, I'm like, so you heavily depend. That happened when they had R.J. Barrett and Zion. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you run into a more mature team, and sometimes those players, even though they aren't as talented,
Right.
they're more mature and they know how to handle late game
Hmm.
situations. You know, when the game gets tight, you know, they are a little bit more mentally prepared than those younger guys. So that didn't surprise me, even though it was inexplicable. It surprised me in the moment. You know, when you go back and look, you're like, well, those are very young guys. You know,
Right.
they'll.
So if you're Duke, to your point,
Mhm.
if you're Duke, like what do you do like going forward? Like how do you get over how do you get over the hump?
I mean, you could
Because I
get
mean, because they say that what is the definition of insanity? Like doing the same thing
over and over
over and over
expecting
again
it.
and
Well,
expecting a different
you
result.
got the transfer portal.
But I'm saying, like, I mean, this is like just over the past 10 years.
Yeah,
Like, this is
yeah.
what Duke has been doing. Like
Yep, with the very
they
young guy.
I
But
mean, they've had 36 five-star recruits.
yep,
They've had 28 McDonald's All-Americans.
yep.
They have eight of those 18
First
first round
round.
draft
Mm-hmm.
picks, nine top five,
Yeah, yeah.
eight lotteries,
Yep.
seven top 10,
Yeah.
three number one prospects,
Yeah.
two number one picks overall.
Yeah.
And they don't have Jack Spade to show for it.
Yeah. So what I this is what I think. I think you got to get in the portal and get some upperclassmen. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your man from Kansas. He been in college about 10 years,
Well,
but
Hunter Dickerson,
yeah, Hunter Dickinson.
Hunter Dickerson is like
Hunter, yeah,
58
I was
years
gonna say, yeah,
old.
he about our age, so
Oh my God,
he should be a steady hand in the locker
man.
room. You
This dude's gonna play his way into the
know?
coaching staff.
All right. But yeah, no, but seriously, like I think that with the transfer portal, with NIL,
So they so you're saying
just
go
go
to
buy some upperclassmen.
yeah,
That's
so go to Jerry Tarkanian
yeah,
route.
right. Yeah, go buy
Take it
some.
back to the basics.
Yeah, go buy some
Take it
upperclassmen.
back to the
Yeah,
basics. Get you some
Bu-
JUCO niggas that ain't
yeah,
nobody heard of
right. Buy some.
that you could get for the low, but
Yeah,
are better than the guys that you typically
yeah,
wouldn't bring in. But these are because I mean, I think the thing about it is it's to the point now where it's proven, at least in Duke's case, where
yeah.
you've got to develop.
Yeah,
You've got to develop
too
some
much
guys.
too much youth. Yeah,
Yeah, you've
is
got to develop.
not
You've got to
good.
develop some guys.
Right. Yeah, you need some grizzled vets
So,
on the squad.
so I asked then,
Hmm.
is that more on coaching
Hmm.
or culture?
Right. Well, in college it's all the same, right? Because
That's
the
fair.
coaches do the recruiting. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
that's
it's
fair. That's
not
fair.
like they
That's
have a
fair.
general. I mean,
That's fair.
unless you Davidson and you hiring Steph Curry as your general manager,
Right.
which I never heard of
Right.
before.
It's a lot of schools doing that
Well,
crazy
well, I
stuff
guess
now. Like,
because they paying now and
yeah,
they got
like
NIL and stuff.
Master P is
Yeah, right. They got general
university.
managers at
I'm like, what
colleges.
the hell is this?
Yeah,
But I guess we got this bread to throw around.
exactly.
Yeah.
You need somebody to manage that. So, but yeah, so because the coaches do the recruiting and they kind of, so they decide who comes in, how you build culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like, man,
But
get some
but
grizzled guys,
yeah, but
man,
that's what I mean. Cause it's like,
some glue guys.
because like once you get them in,
Yeah,
you gotta cultivate them.
you do, you
Like,
do.
okay, so it's like, okay, you just gonna say this guy's not panning out because he didn't set the world on fire his freshman year?
Right? No, no. You
You-
need some character, because that's what Coach K always had. Some of those character guys. He had some of those guys who could age with the program. He didn't always have, just super freshmen.
right,
Like he
right,
would have. I'm trying to think of some names. Like a Nolan Smith. What I'm
right,
saying that
right,
that's a name that comes to mind. Who was there? Who stayed a few years
right,
and who
right.
was in the program, where
Exactly.
he could mentor other younger guys. You still need, yes, go get the super freshman, but you still have to recruit some
Yeah,
guys.
you historically look at the NBA, the winners all went to school for a significant
Of
amount of
course.
time. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
you can go
agree.
from Michael Jordan to Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Like
And Steph Curry. I think
yeah.
Steph Curry was
I
in there
mean,
for 3 years.
you look at Draymond, Steph,
Yeah.
Iguodala.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They all had extended
Yeah,
time in
Tim
college.
Duncan.
Tim
Yeah.
Duncan,
Yeah.
extended time
Tim
in
Duncan stayed
college.
in college for like 2 years too. He was a man among
Right.
sports.
But I mean, but
But
it's
he,
no coincidence.
I
You
agree.
get what I'm saying? You look at even the old going to work Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
These are guys, Richard Hamilton,
Yep.
champion,
Yep.
Rasheed Wallace, Tar Heel.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
Ben Wallace. He went to Virginia Union all 4 years.
Tayshaun, national champion at Kentucky.
Yep.
He won with Tubby.
Yep.
So it's not a coincidence.
No, I agree.
Even Shaquille O'Neal, 3 years of college.
3 years at
Because I
LSU, yep.
think it comes to a point where coaches have to coach and players have to be willing to be coached
I agree.
in order to consistently win.
Yes.
Like I think that's
And you have to see
they're,
the
they're
value in it.
symbiotic. Yeah, exactly. You have to. It has to go both ways.
Yeah.
You know,
You
and
got to see the value in it.
I just think if you look back, you can go back to any. LeBron's the exception, but even then, you look at the guys that he won with, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had to get it out the mud through college.
Marquette. Yeah.
Chris Bosh,
Mm-hmm.
college player,
Yep.
GT, Georgia Tech.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like Kevin Love,
Mm-hmm.
UCLA,
Yep.
Kyrie Irving won a national championship at Duke.
Yep.
You get it's
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I'm, so it's not a coincidence. So
yeah, I agree.
yeah, that's I think like you say, that may be the solution. They may have to get back to the bricks and go the Jerry Tarkanian route.
Yeah, get some
and
guys.
Start searching under the rock for the ski mask way guys.
Yeah.
And
Get
throw
some
them
guys.
a bag. Yeah.
Yep. Get some guys. Bring them in. And you need some culture pieces, some guys that are, to complement the Cooper Flags, to go along with them and, and say, listen, this is how we do it. And then some guys that you can give the ball late that you can trust, that are still good players. But because these super young guys, I mean, you got to expect that they're going that they don't have the fortitude yet.
Right.
To get her done.
But they just don't sell it. You get what I'm saying? You would think watching Villanova and what they were able to do, and then to see that those key players from those teams to actually go to the pros and have significant, decent success.
Yes.
When you think of those guys from those Jay Wright teams.
Oh yeah.
You would think that would be something that college would be able to use to sell as staying works.
Right.
You
right.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like staying works. Not only can you win in college, you can go to the pros, get a big bag.
Yes.
And it's cool, it works, but that's just me.
Yeah. and you would think that NIL would help guys stick around. And I understand that the NIL money is not significant enough on the men's side yet to keep them in school like it is for the women.
Right.
It's still a little bit too much money going to the NBA. There's a lot more money than you can get in NIL, but you would think that it would keep some of the guys there. Let's go ahead and switch gears, man. The women's NCAA.
Oh yeah.
UConn gets it done. Paige Beckers and the crew. They pretty much beat up on South Carolina. Huh?
Yeah.
They
that
South
got
Carolina
ugly.
that action.
That got ugly quick.
So but Dawn Staley and the crew, they'll be back, man.
Yeah, they're already getting the leading scorer in the nation
Yeah,
with a
listen,
Tanaya Lotson. She's
yeah,
transferring there already,
listen.
so they'll be right
They,
back.
they they'll be back, man. Dawn ain't going nowhere, man. Um, give me your impressions, man. What do you think, man? You think South Carolina got exposed, or you just nobody wins it all the time, or
I mean, it's hard to say that they got exposed. Well, I mean, they were in the midst of like a 70 some odd game winning
yeah,
streak
that's what I said. I'm like,
before they, suffered their first loss to Connecticut earlier, this season.
yeah,
And that loss was ugly.
yeah,
So I kind of was
right,
kind of going into that game knowing that it was a bad matchup
yeah.
for them.
And UConn is a powerhouse, man.
I mean, they got Sarah Smith up front.
Yeah,
They Cardoso's gone for South Carolina, so they had no matchup for that.
yeah,
You had Paige on a mission.
hmm,
And then on top of all that, AZ Fudd decided to show up
yeah,
in the first quarter early with her hair on fire.
yeah,
So I mean, that was pretty much it. I think Malaysia Fuaili came in and got a lot of turnovers early, a couple of Shiro shots up. Dawn sat her down.
yeah,
And then from there, it just kind of was a snowball down the snow covered hill, as David Ruffin said.
yeah. No, man. Yeah, I expect South Carolina to be back, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Shout out to UConn,
There's no
man.
shame in losing to Gino
Yeah, I
Ariamo.
was gonna say
Well,
Gino
there's no shame
Auriemma.
in
Yeah,
that at all.
maybe the greatest, college women's coach to date. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of a lot to say about
No,
it.
I mean they both got lucky. Juju got hurt.
Yeah,
That's
I
that's
was
how
gonna
I
say,
truly
man.
feel
Yeah, I
about it.
want to see. I was looking forward to see Juju make her run. She'll be back next year, undoubtedly. So there'll be more to discuss in the women's NCAA tournament next year. Um, quickly transitioning, man, to boxing. David Benavidez
Yeah,
is now the light heavyweight champ. Bivol vacated the title. Um, I don't know what's going on in the light heavyweight division. I
dude,
I do think, first of all, Benavidez needs to fight um, Morrell again.
I think so too.
That was a great fight.
I think so too.
That was a great fight. Again, like we touched on that last time, that the first two major fights of this year have been really, really good. That one was great. Morrell really surprised me. I know Morrell, I think he's only had like 11 or 12 professional fights.
I think that was his 12th fight, if
Yeah,
I'm not
I
mistaken.
was
Yeah.
gonna say, but
Mhm.
but he put up a heck of a fight. So I definitely would like to see that again. But I don't know how much action there is at
That's
light
dude.
heavyweight.
That's what I when I heard that I said, well, who's there?
Yeah, I
I
think that
thought
might be why Bivol vacated.
vacated.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of action at super middleweight.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know what's going on at light heavyweight. I don't know really who's there. So I think that might be why he vacated, and I don't know what his plan is
yeah. I was
though.
going to say, well, what do you see long game for Benavidez
Yeah,
then? Because when I first heard, I was like, well, can he? I mean, I'm pretty sure he could sustain that because he's a lanky
yeah,
guy.
he's
He's like,
big. Yeah,
he's got the frame where he could pack on 15
yeah,
pounds and
he's
you
a
would
big
you
guy.
wouldn't notice it at all.
He's a really big dude.
So I'm like, well, okay, I can see where physically it's not that much of a strain for him to make weight for fights. You
No,
you get so I could kind of see that,
yeah.
but long game, I don't. What fights would be out there in terms of where he can get a significant bag?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. So I'm interested to see what fights can be made at light heavyweight. The good thing is Turkey Al Sheik is running around with his checkbook, and if that
Man,
whatever's to be made,
checkbook, black card,
yeah,
a
exactly, yeah,
bag of Goonie rubies. This
right,
dude throwing bread
gold
around.
bullion, yeah. So
Man,
whatever fights are able to be made, they will be. And Canelo has fought at once. He fought Bivol
mm,
at light heavyweight. So I mean, depending on what goes on with him and Terrence Crawford in September,
yeah.
that might be a potential fight at light heavyweight. But I'd like to see, you know, uh Benavidez go again with Morrell. And of course, we know Canelo is going to go with Crawford in September.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll see what potential there is on the
Yeah,
landscape.
because those fights will probably shake the game up either way,
Correct.
depending on how those finishes are executed.
And this
Yeah.
is my thought. So I'm like, that should take us through the remainder of the year. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? And then we'll know what 2026 is going to bring after that. But and then of course we touched on the fight card that's coming up on May 2nd,
Yeah.
which should bring some clarity, I think, to 135. The 135 140 landscape. And yeah, man, boxing is very
I
interesting
mean,
right
it's
now.
a lot of good fights that can happen,
Yeah,
which, is exciting, but it's almost like one foot in, one foot out
right,
because, they can happen. Will they?
right.
Is an entirely different, deck of cards.
Correct. Correct. Um, man, let's talk about our Pistons, man. Let's circle back around to the NBA,
Hey,
man.
man, what are they doing against the Knicks right now?
Exactly. That's a great question.
Oh God, don't make me mad.
uh, yeah. Let's check the score in real time,
Yeah,
man.
because like, what are we like? We lost what, four of the last
Yeah, man.
five.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
we
50.
touched on it earlier with the mystery DNPs.
Yeah, man. Listen, well, so like with the Pistons, I think it's 56-45 Knicks.
Okay.
Yeah. So
See,
I think with the
I'm
Pistons,
uncomfortable. My fault.
go ahead, go
What
ahead.
are you? Who's in the lineup tonight?
The lineup looks pretty normal. It was Cade, we got Cade, Duran, Hardaway Jr., Sir Thompson,
Okay, that's enough. Those are the
yeah,
three
and
more important
Tobias.
ones.
Tobias
Yeah.
even played. So
Okay, so see, I'm a little nervous before you go off. I'm nervous about the seeming backslide into the playoffs. So I'll let you just kind of go from there, and I'll follow up.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Cade is back to get these last few games in, get his rhythm. Um, yeah, I'm not overly concerned. Um, I kind of wanted the Knicks
Mm-hmm.
over the Pacers. For some reason, the Pacers give us the blues, and the Knicks, I think, are a better matchup for us. But I don't trust Carl Anthony Towns in any big games,
No.
so I'm gonna take my chances with him. Uh, I like the way we're playing. I like the way we play defense. I don't like that they got 56 points with 3 minutes left to go in the second quarter. I don't like
Yeah.
our defense tonight, but I'm gonna assume that playoff defense is different. 3-point percentages tend to go down.
Yeah.
That's why Carl Anthony Towns is typically not a great playoff performer because he really likes the three, and play 3-point percentages typically go down. I was explaining this to somebody the other day about playoff 3-point shooting and how percentages dip in the playoffs, which is why the Golden State model was fool's gold. I said
Yeah.
because Steph Curry's career 3-point percentage is 43, Klay Thompson's is
41.
41,
Yeah.
and um, Kevin Durant's is 41. I said, so when their 3-point percentages take a dip, the 3 to 5% that usually happens in the playoffs, they still shoot above league average.
Right.
That's an anomaly, though. Most people don't shoot 43% from
No.
three.
No.
Most people shoot around league average.
Yeah.
So in the playoffs, they get below average. So when they try to use that formula that Golden State uses, it
Doesn't
doesn't,
work.
it's not a success. Yeah, because you have to have far above average shooting 3-point shooters in order to use that formula in the playoffs and it work. Because if Steph, if he goes down 3 to 4%, he's still at 39-40%,
Right. True.
which is still a great 3-point shooter.
Right.
Same
Especially if
thing.
you're volume shooting.
This is what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
like, same thing with Clay. He 41. If he go down 3%, he's still at 38, which is still a great 3-point
Right.
shooter.
Right.
Same thing with Durant. I'm like, that's why it looks like, oh, they still making 4 out of 10. Yeah, but you a 35% three-point shooter. You go down, you make it 3 out of 10. It don't look as good.
Right.
It looks like you bricking all over the place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to Jason Tatum, but that's what happens to his because he's just an average three-point shooter. And then in the playoffs, his field goal
He
percentage
continues to volume shoot.
to volume
threes.
shoot, and then his field goal percentage goes into the toilet. And they
I
like,
agree.
well, what happens to Jason Tatum in
He
the
doesn't
playoffs?
turn into a situational player in the postseason.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
agree.
because he doesn't really do one thing great. He does everything kind of good. And that's really not good for postseason play.
No.
You got to have that one go-to thing. I'm like, and that's in contrast why LeBron is really good because he gets to the basket extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, like no one else
Yes,
ever could.
which works exceptionally well in the because jump shooting is not great in the postseason, especially mid-range or long range. But if you can get to the basket, that works well.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
Yeah, that's great in the postseason. So at any rate, I digress. I took a little bit of a
No,
rabbit
no,
trail.
I get it. But now my thing with the Pistons and in reference to if we have a potential matchup with the Knicks, what I what I think about is Thibodeau likes to kind of, speaking of minutes.
Yeah.
Now he's the guy that don't shy away from minutes.
Well, he will pound
So,
his starters into the
I
ground.
think, with this particular matchup, I'm thinking, okay, I mean, he does that. I think that could hurt them because Cade will wear Brunson out.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is once that starts to happen, and then they do the switch off to Anunoby and Bridges.
Well, that's why they got
Who-
all of them wings.
But right,
To
exactly.
hide Brunson. You know that's
Who we sending at him when they hide Brunson?
Yeah.
Like us. You get what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right.
is that going to be Beasley? Is that going to be Hardaway? Is that going to be Sasser?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because
Well,
if we can, because he stirs the pot.
mhm.
Like if we can, like how teams used to do Steph.
Yep.
If we can always just find him, especially because, like I said, even during the heavy duration of the game, if he's going to have a body on Cade, the way Tibbs likes to play his guys' minutes, it's going to wear him down by the time you get to game. Hopefully, game 5,
Yeah,
6.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm wondering who's from our end when they start hiding Brunson that that's going to take that assignment. Like, don't worry, I'm gonna finish him off.
Yeah. Well, so here's my thought, and I'm thinking that this is what Bickerstaff is going to do, because my feeling is that they're going to probably start Mikal Bridges on Cade defensively,
Okay. And put
which
Brunson on Hardaway.
probably something like that. If they smart, they gonna do that. But I would immediately start running screen and roll with Hardaway. I'd bring Hardaway to the ball, screen, and pop,
Yeah.
and let him shoot.
Or let Darren set up some pin downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm bringing whoever Brunson is on to the ball
Yeah.
and making him a screener.
For sure.
I'm doing that.
Just find him and run the DHO to his side.
I'm finding you
all game.
all game.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm running
Cut the head
screen
off
and
the
roll.
snake.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you try to hide him on a sewer. I'm running
Gas 'em.
screen. I'm running screen and roll with a sewer.
Gas 'em.
I'm
'Cause the
bringing
thing
it.
about it with
That's
Brunson-
even better.
Because my thing is, the thing about it with Brunson, good player.
Yep.
But again, Tibbs is going to run him into the ground. He's coming back from a foot injury. So
Yep.
you know he ain't been on no bike condition in the last month.
Nah.
So
He been
like
resting.
I said, beat his body up
Yeah.
and don't let him rest.
Nope.
That's my thing. Carl Anthony Towns, like you say, I don't trust dude. He's a great player, all
Yeah.
the talent in the world.
He is extremely
But-
talented.
But he's sometime as it gets to me. OG same.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
OG, I have 23 one night, and the next night he'll have 6.
Yes, indeed. He is up and down.
I like Bridges. I
love
like Bridges. And Josh Hart's a Piston to me.
Yeah.
I look at Josh Hart play, and I'm like, he needs to be one of us.
I
Like-
don't like Josh.
I like Josh Hart, man.
I don't care for Josh.
I like
and
Josh Hart.
he said something greasy about the Pistons back in the day, and I don't forget.
So that's what it is.
Yeah, he said that he basically when he was becoming a free agent, he was like, I'm not going to the Pistons. Basically he refuses to come here. like somebody was looking for Josh Hart. And yeah, we sucked at the time, but I don't know. I think he was like leaving Portland or something like that. So yeah, I don't forgive
Oh,
him.
he ain't nice like that.
Yeah, no, he
I
ain't
just
nice.
mean like his style of play.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean
he can't shoot.
he ain't nice like where he like I'm straight on us.
Yeah, right.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't need no more
suck it
non-shooters,
easy,
though.
Josh Hart. I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, he
I
got.
recant my previous statement.
Let's do some rapid fire real quick,
Let's
man.
get it.
Larry Bird says that he admits he has an issue with players getting paid so much money in the NBA.
He's sick of looking at these niggas get rich. That's what that meant. I get you, Larry.
Tell me how you really feel.
That's what that statement meant in French lick talk.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, come on, Larry. Did you play for free?
no.
Last time that I checked, Larry Bird like got paid to play basketball, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen.
With that old corny ass statement. Even right now to this day, the fact that guys get paid a lot of money to play a game is crazy to me. Shut up. That's because all your money's gone. I want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean,
Bunch of bull.
yeah, I didn't care for that statement at all. First of all,
Did he donate his money when he was playing to the Boston YMCA?
I would have to check, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no.
Forgotten Harvest?
No.
I'm pretty sure he pocketed that and probably, from what I heard about Larry Bird, spent it on booze and broads.
That's again, I would have
Shut
to
the
double
hell
check
up.
that, but I'm sure that he put his money in his pocket. Listen, the players get paid what they get paid because they earned it. Um, the league makes a certain amount of revenue, and it's a simple math equation. Nobody's giving anybody anything.
Is it crazy that owners sit up in a box and watch guys play a game and make billions
Yeah,
of dollars?
that's what I was gonna say. And if the players were to make less, that would just mean the owners would make more. They're not passing along any of those savings to us.
Preach.
So no, the players should get what they get. They should get the money that they get. Again, now we can have a philosophical conversation about, like you said, competition, working more, playing more minutes, forgetting about the load management. That those are all philosophical conversations that we can have. But the bottom line is that the league makes a certain amount of revenue. That revenue, a portion of that revenue goes to player payroll.
Yeah, I mean, because the reason why I say that, because when I hear stuff like that, and that could just be me being super radical, nigga, but it's just like, that's like kind of dog whistle talk to me, bro.
Yeah, no,
like,
I'm with you.
in the midst of like, the things with John Morant got going on
Yeah.
and getting fined with all that, and for them to kind of make that comment prevalent, it's like, bro, these contracts aren't new news.
Yeah, no, they're not.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you were not far removed when Larry Johnson first signed that real stupid contract, and I believe he was still playing when Shaquille O'Neal signed that 42 million
Yeah,
back with Orlando.
yeah,
You get what I'm saying? And then Big Dog was like I think Big Dog was the first $100 million guy
yeah.
or $90 million guy 2 years or 3 years after that. So like, stop with this, man. Like, it's so ridiculous. And like I said, to me, it sounds like, leaning towards dog whistle talk. You know what I'm
Yeah, no,
saying?
I'm with you. Yeah, like
And it
listen.
just was whack.
Yep, I agree. It was like when he said, it's not enough white stars in the league. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it smacks of, it
And
smacks of
like I
these
said, we're not
these
gonna
black
call
dudes getting too much
we're not
money.
gonna call Larry Bird anything other than Larry Joe Bird, Hall of Fame basketball player,
Right.
who
Listen.
has a problem with a predominantly black league paying those predominantly black players a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it sounded weird. Um, the Tigers, man,
Hey,
5 in a row,
well, they did
6 out of
they
7.
they did take an L the other day
Oh, well,
to
6
the
out of 8.
Yankees. But hey, we're still in first place.
Yeah, 6 out of 8. After being swept by the world champs. So you can take that. A lot of people gonna go to Chavez Ravine and get swept this year. So
Yeah, man. Hey,
that might be the best lineup in baseball, best pitching staff. The Dodgers are going to be a problem for a lot of teams. That's nothing to be ashamed of, to go into Chavez Ravine and get swept. But came back and won 6 out of 8. And we number 1 in the division. Give me your impressions, your thoughts.
Hey, man, I love the fact that Torque has a pulse.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. We've been waiting
I
on
mean,
Torque,
hey
man.
man,
We've been waiting on Torkelson,
Torque,
man.
just whatever you're doing, whatever you, hey, keep it up.
Keep it up,
You
brother.
know, hey, those 0 for 4 days, I'll take them if you're following it up. When you get a homer and a double, and listen, I'm all right with it.
Hey, man, listen.
I
Oh, Adam
love
Dunn, man.
I love what I saw from the bullpen against the Yankees and their gimmick bats.
Hey, I love it.
That was highly impressive to me. Again, like I've been saying for probably what the last 2 3 years, a healthy Riley Green's a star.
Yeah,
Period.
absolutely.
Healthy Riley Green's a star. And damn it, Kerry Carpenter, where have you been all of my life?
Oh, man.
Man, that man's bat is on fire. Pause, no diddy.
Hey,
Listen,
man, listen.
man. So listen.
How good a manager is AJ Hinch?
Oh well, had to give him time to let him cook,
Yeah,
but he the. I mean, can we just say it? He's AJ's a baseball savant.
yeah.
Like
AJ
he
Hinch
really
is a
is.
beast, man.
Like he's unorthodox at times,
He
but
is.
when you analyze it like later
And,
and you see the
and AJ
situation and the
and,
logic behind it,
and
you be
AJ
like,
we trust,
damn,
man.
yeah, man. Like I f's with him heavy.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when we had a 2% chance to make the playoffs in early August and we ended up making the playoffs, I'm like, hey man, and AJ we trust,
But
man.
see, what happened was the habits
Yeah, that's what I'm
started
talking
to
about.
bear fruit. You get
Listen,
what I'm saying? They didn't do anything special.
no,
They didn't go out and get a guy. They just kept doing the necessary stuff, and then eventually
yeah, this
it
dude
started
started
to
having
yield.
openers and
Yep.
guys coming in, man, that I never heard of. Um, real quick, Jace Richardson declaring for the draft.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
I'm not gonna say I was shocked.
I wasn't shocked. I would have liked to seen him stay
Yeah,
another year.
it was more or less that.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's like I don't know. Maybe he's going to see where he'll land. But from what I saw, if they got him projected lottery, it's a lower lottery.
yeah,
But you never know if this kid got anything, which I'm sure he does. I mean, he may have the private workout of a Donovan Mitchell and shoot up the lottery. Because you
yeah.
know
No, he
how.
can.
I
Yeah,
mean, we saw how Izzo's system inhibited his father.
yeah,
You got to remember his pops was only a 9 point a game scorer,
yeah. Izzo be trying.
at state. So and then
And
he
I'm a
gets to the
Michigan
league.
State fan,
Yeah, and
so
then Jay Rich, he gets to the league. He's a 20 point a
of
game,
course, yeah,
guy in his sleep.
because he an athlete and
Yeah, in his sleep. So, his son with the wide open league now,
yeah.
I
Oh
think it'll
yeah, you're
depend
right.
on his workout. But
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you a question, man, and then we'll end on this.
Okay.
What are you looking for the Lions to draft? Because I know what I want, but let me ask you, man, because maybe I'm tripping. Let me see if we
Oh,
want
it's
the
easy to
same
me. A
thing.
pass rusher.
I, or an interior. I'll take an
I'll
interior
take okay,
defensive
yeah,
lineman.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, but
For
a
sure.
pass rusher
Like,
or an interior
okay, I'm
defensive
sorry. Let
lineman.
me keep it simple, stupid. Someone that's going to make life difficult for whoever has the ball behind the line of scrimmage on offense.
Thank you. Now, because we on the same page, I just know Brad Holmes is doing anything but that. I'm like, he's gonna get a linebacker or a safety or a receiver or a core. I'm like, just because I want
His
every
tape just jumps out at
yeah,
you.
I'm like everything that every year Brad Holmes does, and I think again,
Love you, Brad. We just talking shit.
Brad Holmes has done an excellent job. I mean, there's no other way around it. He's
Right.
done an excellent job. But everything that I want him to draft, this dude always does something different.
But however, that did land us the best back in football.
Listen, and I love Jameer Gibbs. I do. I love Jim. I wanted Jalen Carter.
Hey, Jalen
I'm
Carter
I'm
is
still
picking
there.
up a ring this fall.
Listen, man, and I'm gonna tell you, defensive tackles, great defensive tackles, they're more valuable than running backs. And it ain't because I
No, it's
said
a
so.
it's a fact.
It ain't because I
It's a
said so. The
fact.
highest paid defensive tackle in football is Chris Jones. He makes $32 million. The highest paid running back is Christian McCaffrey. He makes 16. The market told me. I go by what the market says. The highest paid running back makes half of what the highest paid defensive tackle makes. That's all I'm saying.
True.
But again, and that's nothing against Jameer Gibbs. I like him, but again, listen,
No, I mean we
the
talking the same
Super
rap.
Bowl MVP
Yeah.
was Saquon. Wasn't it Saquon? Didn't he win the Super Bowl or was it Hurts? I can't remember. But
No, it was Jalen Hurts.
yeah, okay, Hurts.
Yeah, it was Hurts.
But Saquon Barkley was a league MVP candidate, 2,000 rushing yards.
He was offensive player of the year.
Offensive player of the year. He was a free agent. There was another guy in Baltimore named Derrick Henry. He had almost 2,000 yards rushing too. He was also a free agent. You can get you a running back. Nobody's giving up a great defensive tackle.
That's true.
And I'll land on that. Everybody has one podcast, man. Y'all check us out next time. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Again, keep hitting the page. The website is we got announcements coming.
Like,
So y'all like,
share,
love, share,
subscribe.
hit us up. And keep engaging with us.
The call-in number's coming. So
Yes,
we want to
indeed.
hear everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
We mean that. So
Yes.
we want y'all to share it. So we're gonna have all that set up too. It's coming. So just bear with us, stay with us, and we're gonna take it there.
Absolutely. Everybody has one podcast. We out.
Peace.
Thank you. That was fun, man. It's always fun.